Welcome back, everyone. Today we are diving into an exciting fintech mobile app UI I discovered on Dribbble. I was so impressed by this design, which was created by Barly Vallendito, that I decided to recreate it step by step. So in this tutorial series, we'll be building multiple pages of this UI together. If you enjoyed this content and find it helpful, please consider subscribing. You can also like and share as well. So with that said, let's jump right in. So in my main.dat file, my app widget is rendering a home widget, which is defined below as a stateless widget with a scaffold over here. So this is the Dribbble design. You can see the credit card over here. You also have the app bar section, the action buttons, the transaction list over here, and lastly the bottom navigation bar. So we actually start building from the top, right? So within the scaffold of this home widget, we start with a background color, and another way of specifying a background color is from the RGB, where you specify the red, green, and also the blue color. So let's save the changes over here. There we go. So the body of this scaffold starts with the safe area, and that basically prevents it from being at the notch area, right? So the column is going to be the child of this safe area, which takes in the children, where you can specify a list of widgets in here, right? So with the column, let's set the cross axis alignment of this column to be cross axis alignment dot start. And the first widget in the column is going to be a row widget. So in this row, we also be having the children with the column as well. That in turn also taking the children, right? So let's set the cross axis alignment of this column to be cross axis alignment dot start, right? So in this column is where we're placing our two tests, right? So the first test is going to be the welcome message. So this test is going to be taking a welcome message. So welcome back with exclamation mark. There you go. So let's proceed to start this test. So with the test style over here, we can assign it a color, right? So let's start changing the color of this test to be colors.white. There we go. Let's wrap the row in a padding widget so we can have enough space around it. And this padding is going to affect all sides, a value of 14. Saving the changes. There you go. So we need one more text below this text. So I'll copy and repeat that and changing the text over here. And this text is going to be the username, right? So for example, Angela, right? So we can get rid of the text in here. So it's going to have the same color, right? And this text is big enough, so let's change the font size to be 24. Saving the changes, there we go. And also bolding the text as well with font weight.bold. Looking good. So the reason why I wrap it within this row is next to the text is going to be an icon button that will be placed at the very end, right? So the icon button comes with the on press and also the icon where you can specify the icon. So the icon is going to take in an icon, which is going to be icon into brackets icons dot then the name of the icon. That's going to be the notification icon. So let's save in the changes over here. Let's get rid of the const. There you go, as you can see over there. So we want the outline version of this icon button so we can have the border around it. As you can see the effect. Let's also change the color to be colors.white. And let's place this icon button at the very end. So to achieve that, we can use the spacer widget and that will push the icon to the very end since it's placed in a row widget. There you go, as you can see the effect. So when you check the design, you can see we are basically done with the app bar session. We need to proceed with the credit card session. And for that, you need to come below the padding over here. You are going to have an expanded widget. And the child of this expanded widget is going to be a stack widget, where you can position widgets in here. So the stack takes in children, right? Meaning it's going to accept multiple widgets in here. And the first one is going to be the container. So let's give it a margin over here. It's going to be edge insert dot only. This is only going to affect the top size, a value of 165. So let's also proceed to give this container a color, right? A white color to see the effect. So it's going to be colors.white. Saving the changes. There you go. The save area, let's prevent it from the bottom, right? So it has an additional argument we can provide to the save area. So with the bottom, let's set the value to be false, right? So that it stretches. There you go. So we want to position the credit card, right? That's why we've wrap it in a stack widget. So below the container is going to be a position widget. And the child of this position widget is going to be a custom widget called a credit card, right? So I'll name a credit card widget over here. For now, it's not yet created. I'll be creating it sooner. There you go. So let's position this credit card widget, right? It's going to have a top of 20, a left of 25, and also a right of 25. So in the lib folder, I'll be creating a new file. I'm going to name this file as a credit card. So it's going to be a .dat file. So in here, I'll be creating a stateless widget with a credit card name and return a container over here. So make sure the import statement is from material.dat. So I'll fix that over there. So once you have that, let's import the credit card custom widget we just created over here. Saving the changes. Make sure you provide a const and saving the changes. So let's start working in the credit card widget. So the container is going to have a height of 220. And also the chart of this container is going to be a column with text in the children. So in here, we are going to specify an expanded widget. We are going to have two expanded widgets with different flex values. So the first one is going to be having a flex of 2, and the chart of this expanded widget is going to be a container. So the color of this container is going to be from the RGB, where you specify the red, green, and blue values. That's going to be 40, 19, and 29 respectively. There you go. As you can see the card over there. So we want the card over there to be rounded. So with the container, you can specify the decoration, which takes in the box decoration. So in that, we can specify the border radius, the circular version, and provide a value of 20 and saving the changes. It seems not to be working. So let's cut this column and start with clip arrow rate. That's also another way of providing a rounded shape. So the chart of this clip arrow rate is going to be a column. So the clip arrow rate over here takes in the border radius. So you can specify that to be 20, saving the changes to see whether it works. So let's get rid of the error. There you go. So let's proceed. We need to start working, have these images and also the text on the card. So that's the next step. So the container over here is going to have a stack as a child, and you're going to position the widget on this card, right? So you specify a position widget over here. So let me comment it now and bring in my assets, right? So I'll be creating a new directory, and I'm going to name this directory as the assets. So this asset is going to contain, or will be containing, the credit card chip and also the Wi-Fi symbol, as you can see. And make sure you have that in the passport.yml file enabled, right? So you can uncomment this asset functionality and specify the path over here to be from our assets directory, and get rid of this just like this and saving the changes. And over here, the position widget, so you are going to position the image, right? So this widget is going to have the image as its child, and this image is going to be from our assets directory. We are going to specify the path of this image, and that's going to be from the assets / the credit card.png, and that's the name of the image. Hot reload is not working, so I think we can restart. So I'll click on the restart over here. So once that is restarting, we need to proceed working on that, right? So this image, so let's give this image a height of 40, and also provide a color. The color is going to be colors.white. There we go. So we want one additional position widget, and that's going to be for the Wi-Fi icon or the Wi-Fi image as well, right? So first of all, set the top of this position widget to be 16, and also provide a left value to be 16 as well. So let's change in the path of this asset to be the Wi-Fi. So it's going to be Wi-Fi.png, and the top is going to be having a value of 10 and also a left of 70. That fits the issue. So here, let's change in the height to be 50. There we go. So the next step is to render the card pin on the credit card. So below this position widget, we are also going to have another position widget. And the chart of this position widget is going to be a text where we specify the card pin. So it's going to be a text with the asterisk sign 4 times and a space. So we only show the last 4 digits as seen on the card. So let's start this. So with the tester, we can provide it. So let's give it a bottom of 16 and also a left of 16 as well. There we go. So within the tester, let's change in the color over here to be visible enough. So we set the color to be white. There you go. So let's proceed. Let's also bold in this or set the font size to be 18. So you're also going to have an expanded widget at one more over here. And the chart of this expanded widget is going to be a container. So this expanded widget is going to have a flex of 1. And within the container widget, we give it a color, right? That's going to be from the RGB. So color.from RGB. We specify the color of red, green, blue. The first one is the alpha. That's how much opacity you want it to be. So we specify the RGB values as 16, 80, and 98 respectively. Oops. We fix that stone. So the container is going to have a child as a row. The row is going to be the child of the container. So in here we have children. It's supposed to be a child. Then you can specify the row in here, where you can specify the children over here, right? So over here, let's set the main axis alignment to be main axis alignment dot space between. So within this row, we want to place the value and also the MasterCard symbol, right? But we want a space between them. That's basically it. So it's going to have a text that contains the value or the number on the credit card, the amount on the credit card. That's going to be $10,250. So let's start this test. So as usual, let's increase the font size, right? Let's specify the font size to be 24. And also set the font weight to be bold. I don't know what's happening this way, but we'll fix that soon. So let's work on this. We're also going to have another row. So in here, we specify the main axis alignment of this row to be main axis alignment dot start. And we're going to have a children, right? Avatar with a radius of 15 and also a background color. So it's going to be a white with opacity. So it's going to be 0.8. There you go, as you can see it over there. So we want one more additional circle avatar, but we want it to overlap. So we can use the transform dot translate. So in here it takes in the offset. So with the offset, we provide the X and Y values, right? So that will be 10 and 0 respectively. So in the chart of this transform is going to be the circle avatar with the same radius and the background color. Saving the changes over here, as you can see, but I want it to overlap. So supposed to be -10. There we go. As you can see, the two circle avatar overlaps. So let's fit this issue while we're having those expanded to be at the top, right? I want it to be at the bottom. So it's supposed to be two expanded widgets. Yeah, seeing the issue. So we need to remove this expanded widget over here, and next to this expanded widget, that's where it's supposed to be. So let's save in the changes. That's cool. You can see we have everything. So let's wrap the row in a pattern widget, and this pattern is going to affect it symmetrically. So in here we provide a horizontal value to be 16, and also let's change in the color of the amount over here to be a white color. There we go. Yeah. And I think we are pretty much done with the credit card widget. Right. So the container basically have two expanded widgets with different flex values, right? So that's basically it with the credit card implementation over here. So our next step is to work on the action buttons, as you can see. Then we proceed with a transaction list. So within the main.dat file, the container over here is going to have a child. The child is going to be a column with the children, right? So in here, we need to specify the action buttons to be over here. And below the action buttons, we'll be having our transaction list. Right, so I'll comment that, saving the changes. We'll fix that later. It's because we are not having any content in the column, right? So I'll create a new .dat file, and I'm going to name this file as the action buttons, right? So in here it's going to be a stateless widget. and the name is going to be action buttons. So we'll be returning a container over here. Let's return a container over here and give it a width to be double dot to infinity. That's basically saying 100% of it, and align the content of the container to be at the center, right, with the alignment argument, and provide a height of 100. So let's start this container with a decoration, right? So in here, we specify the color. That's going to be from the RGB. Provide the red, green, and blue color, right? That's going to be 239, 243, and also 245. That's a different shade of white, I think so. Yeah, so the chart of this container is going to return a row where you specify our action buttons over here, right? The main axis alignment of this row is going to be spaced evenly, right? We want the space to be distributed evenly, and the rotating the children. So within the children over here, you're going to specify the action buttons over here, right? That's the custom widget that is in the icon and also the text, right? So I'll be creating these action buttons over here, right? So you need to import the action buttons so you can see the effects. So let's import the action buttons. There we go. So at the top over here, let's provide some enough space so you can actually see what's going on. So with the size box, we can give it a height value of 110, right? I'll push it there we go. And in here, you need to wrap the container in a padding widget, right? This padding is going to affect it symmetrically with a horizontal value, right? And the horizontal value affects it left and right. So we provide that to be 25. And also let's give some border radius to this container, right? Circular border radius of 15. Get rid of the cons in here. So in here, we need to specify the action buttons, right? That's also going to be a widget. I'll be creating it below over here, right? It's going to be a stateless widget. The name is going to be an action button. So this action button is basically going to return a column, right? So in this column, we will be placing the icon and the text, right? So let's set the main axis alignment to be at the center. So within the children, the first widget is going to be the icon button with the on press and also the icon. So with the icon, we set it to be icon into brackets. The icon is going to be dynamically passed, right? So let's create a variable to hold the icon. That's going to be of type icon data, and also the label as well, right? Make sure you have that required in the constructor to get rid of the errors, right? So in here, we pass in our icon. That's going to be passed dynamically, and also give it a color. There we go. So the color of the icon is going to be from RGB as well, right? 16, 80, and 98 respectively. So these action buttons require the icon and so the label to be passing, right? So let's pass that in. So the icon, the first icon is going to be icons dot account balance, right? So it also requires the label to be passing. And the label is going to be empty string for now, as you can see the icon. So I'll repeat this action button 3 more times over here, right? So in here, we need to change in the icon to be the swap horizon, and also changing the icon button over here to be attach money. And the last one is going to be the apps icon. So apps underscore sharp. So as you can see the icon, right? So below the icon is going to be the text, right? Where we pass in the label. And that's also going to be dynamic as well. So below the text, the icon, we are going to have a text as well. So we pass in the label and provide some styling to this text, right? We give it a font size to be 12 over here, and also a font weight to be 500. Saving the changes. So let's now pass in the label, right? So the first label is going to be the deposit. The next one is going to be the transfer. The third one is going to be the withdrawal. The last one is going to be more. And that's it for the action buttons. You're actually not having the expected icons to be passing, right? So let's provide some spacing in here. There we go. So let's move on to the third one. That's the transaction list. You need to display the transaction list. So in the main of that file, below here, we're going to have the transaction list widget, right? It's not yet created, so I'll be creating it sooner. We're going to have the transaction list. So within the left directory, I'll be creating a file called transaction list. It's going to be a .dat file. Over here as well, we're going to have a stateless widget with a transaction list. And we're going to return an expanded widget, right? We want to take the available space. So list view is going to be the expanded widget, the chart of the expanded widget. And in here, testing the children, right? This make its content to be scrollable. That's why we are specifying the list view. So the first one is going to be the row. So let's say the main axis alignment of this row to be space between, right? So in this row, we are going to have two tests. So the first test basically displays the date of the transactions, and below that we are going to have a row, and this row is also going to have a text and an icon. That's basically the reason why you place it in a row, so we can have the icon next to the text. So let's wrap the row in a padding widget. So this padding is going to affect symmetrically, provide a horizontal value of 25, provide a cons value. Oops. There we go. So in here, we need to import the transaction list widget. There we go. As you can see the effect. So let's provide some space in here as well. So let's reduce the size to be 20. Let's change to 30. There we go. So below the text over here, we're going to have a list style. Right, the leading of this list style is going to contain, or will be containing, the circle avatar with the background, and the color is going to be from the RGB. So the child of this circle avatar is going to be an icon, right? And the icon name is going to be icons.fitness center. There we go. And also let's change the color of this icon to be red, purple accent. Oops, this actually needs to be below the padding. There we go. So the title of this list style is going to take in a text, right, of different categories. So the first one is going to be the gym. So below the title, we have the subtitle where you provide the additional information, right? And that's going to be a text widget as well. We're also going to have a trailing, and this will be placed at the very end in the list style, right? And that's going to be a text as well with the amount. So I'll provide the amount over here, and There you go, you can see it. So let's start the trailing test, right? So if it's a negative value, we provide a red color to distinguish, and we need 3 more of this lister, so I'll copy that and repeat it 3 more times. So in here we need to change in the icon over here to be icons.account balance, and the color is going to be the teal, and we need to change in the text over here to Bank of America, and also the subtitle needs to be changed to deposit, and the amount as well. So if the amount is a positive number, we are actually going to change in the color. So with the styling, we need to change in from colors.red to something else. So let's paste in the third list style over here, and let's make the necessary modifications, right? We change the icon over here, we change the color, changing the title over here. You also need to change in the subtitle as well, and the amount we see over here. So let's change the red to green. Let's actually make reference from the design to see, oh, that's not distinguished. So let's maintain the same color. Right, so I'll comment this to be teal. Sorry, I'll change this to be teal and also comment the styling over here to stay the same. There we go. That's looking very much similar. And that's it for the transaction list, right? I think that's basically it. Yeah. So lastly, we need to focus on the bottom navigation bar, right? So let's provide some divider over here, right? So this divider, you're changing the color over here to be a gray color, but not a deep gray. So passing a value of 200, and we need to fix the error, right? There is an invalid const value somewhere, so there's it. And that will affect most of the widgets to be placed a const, right? So I'll fix that over here. There we go. So we need to work on the bottom navigation bar, right? So that's the last component or the last widget to work on, right? So let's proceed with that. So in the scaffold, below the save area, we're going to have the bottom navigation bar over here. I'm going to return the bottom up bar. So over here, let's start provide the color of this bottom up bar. That's going to be a white color over here. And the chart of this bottom up bar is going to be a row with the children where you place in the icons, right? So the row in here, we specify the main axis alignment of this row to be main axis alignment of space evenly, right? So we want the icons to be spaced out in an even manner. So the first one is going to be an icon button with the unpressed, and also the icon being parsley. So in here we're changing the icon. So it's going to be icon into brackets icons.home. You're going to have the home icon as the first one. There you go, as you can see over there. So let's wrap the icon widget in a column. So below the icon, you are going to have a text of home. So let's start this test and reduce the size of this test, right? So with a text style over here, you can provide it a font size. So it's going to be 10 over here. So you actually need four of these icon buttons, right? So I'll copy this over here and repeat it 3 more times, changing in the icon and also the text as well, right? So the second one is going to be the credit card icon, and the text will be changed to be my card over here with the same font size value, right? So the middle over here is going to be a floating action button. That's going to be the custom button in the bottom navigation bar, right? So it comes with the on press and also let's specify the background color of this floating action button, right? So it's going to be from the RGB, right? 255 as the first value, 1680 and 98, as you can see over there. So let's specify the chart of this floating action button. That's going to be the scanner icon, right? So this in the icon, you specify that to be icon.QR code scanner, and let's change in the color over here to be white color. There you go, right? So next to this, we are going to have 2 more icons, right? Since we specify the spacing to be evenly, we have the floating action button being centered, right? So with the shape of this floating action button, we want it to be fully rounded, right? So we set the shape to be rounded rectangular border. We pass in a border radius of 30, and that will make it fully rounded. There you go. So let's place this chart to be the last argument in the floating action button. So next to the floating action button, you're going to have 2 more additional icons, right? So I need to grab this icon. So you're going to have 2 more icons. There we go. So in here, we need to change in the name and the text. So we change this to be the bar chart, and the text in here to be the activity. And lastly, we change this to be the profile. Sorry, it's going to be the person icon. Icons.person. Then we change the text in here to be the profile text. That's pretty much it with the bottom navigation bar. How cool is that? So I'll link the Dribbble design in the description so you can have a look at it. So over here, let's specify the icon button to be outlined so we can see the border around the button. So how cool is this, right? You can see it looks much similar. So see you in the next part of the tutorial. Until then, stay tuned.